Emotional vigils have been held right across the country and overseas in the wake of Australia's worst mass shooting in decades. Here at Bondi Beach, more than 1,000 people gathered 24 hours on from the terror attack on a Jewish gathering that claimed 15 lives. A swell of floral tributes continues to grow around the scene, while the Sydney Opera House has been illuminated with a Hanukkah Menorah.
As we go to air this morning, 27 people remain in hospital, including Ahmed al-Ahmed, the hero who wrestled a gun from one of the attackers. He even had a visit last night from the New South Wales Premier Chris Minns. We want to take you now to one of the local Sydney hospitals where Max Tillman is for us this morning. Max, so what's the latest on the condition of those who were injured in this horrific attack?
Good morning, James. Well, the latest information we have from New South Wales Health is that 27 people still remain in hospital. 6 of those are classified as being in a critical condition, and an additional 6 are classified as critical but stable. Now, here at St Vincent's Hospital, there are 3 in a critical condition, including 2 in a critical but stable condition. This was obviously the closest major hospital to Sunday night's shooting, and it saw the brunt of patients initially in that first wave of admissions. Now, what we understand, particularly on those 2 police officers who were injured, we understand they're a constable and a probationary constable, so very much a junior member of the New South Wales Police Force. Now, that constable has been identified as Constable Scott Dyson. We understand he's been with the Eastern Suburbs Command, so the area around Bondi, with the New South Wales Police Force for about 18 months, and we've had a statement from both families of those 2 officers. The identity of the second officer has not been made public, but what we understand are both are still in a serious but stable condition. And that statement goes on to not only pass on their understanding and their grief and solidarity with the families of those who have died and more broadly the entire Jewish community here in Australia, but they've also paid tribute to what they've described as the incredibly brave work of not only New South Wales Police but paramedics as well. And obviously with 6 people still in a critical condition, it is very much a matter of every single hour counting. Now, obviously, as you were saying a little bit earlier, Ahmed al-Ahmed, who's being hailed as a hero across the entire world, that vision of him effectively disarming one of those 2 gunmen has been viewed around 22 million times completely globally, and he's in very many ways become a hero from this ordeal. In fact, he was visited last night by the New South Wales Premier Chris Minns at St George's Hospital in Sydney South, and the Premier says Ahmed is a real-life hero. Last night, his incredible bravery no doubt saved countless lives when he disarmed a terrorist at enormous personal risk. It was an honour to spend time with him just now and to pass on his thanks from people all the way across New South Wales. So very much a touching tribute from the Premier there to a man who's being hailed across the entire globe as a hero.
And Max, how is the community rallying around the victims' families and survivors this morning?
We're entering the 3rd day of Hanukkah. Last night we saw a tribute down at Bondi Beach. In fact, the candles on the traditional menorah were lit there by a rabbi. There are around 1,000 people present there. There was a separate gathering at a synagogue in Caulfield in Melbourne as well, with almost 2,000 people packing out that synagogue. And as you were saying a little bit earlier in your introduction, the Sydney Opera House has been lit with the candles of the menorah in solidarity with the Jewish community. We've also seen gatherings and tributes from all across the globe, but Ahmed al-Ahmed as well has seen an incredible influx of support. We understand that a GoFundMe page that was set up for him has now reached $1.5 million and is, of course, expected to rise. In fact, a US billionaire made a single donation of $100,000, and that GoFundMe has certainly generated a lot of support from all across the globe. It really gives you an idea of how enormous the outpouring of grief is, particularly for the Jewish community here in Sydney.